Showing up on the days when everything feels heavy is one of the most underrated parts of becoming a great trader. Everyone thinks success comes from the highlight days, the clean setups, the perfect psychology moments when everything feels aligned. But the truth is deeper, quieter, and far more uncomfortable. The real growth comes from the days when your chest feels tight, your chart looks blurry, and your confidence is shaking like a loose door in a storm. The days when you drag yourself to the desk, not because you feel motivated, but because there is a quiet voice inside you whispering that you cannot afford to stop now. There are traders who only show up when their mind is clear and their emotions are calm. They want trading to feel good. They want a version of consistency built on perfect conditions. They want certainty, confidence, and smooth execution before they act. But the market does not reward the trader who waits to feel perfect. It rewards the trader who trains themselves to operate even when everything is imperfect. This chapter is about that. The version of you that stands on the days when the ground underneath is shaking. The version of you that most traders never build. Because most traders quit before they ever reach that depth of discipline. Every trader goes through a stage where showing up feels like punishment. You open your chart, and the first thought in your mind is something like, "Not again," or "I am not ready," or "What if I lose again?" You feel the weight of previous losses pressing on your chest. Your mind acts like a mirror, reflecting all your fears, all your mistakes, all the things you regret. These thoughts hit hardest on the days when you are exhausted mentally, physically, or emotionally. And if you are not careful, this is the exact point where most traders step back. They skip a day. They avoid the chart. They numb the feelings. They tell themselves they will return tomorrow when they feel better. But tomorrow becomes next week. Next week becomes next month. And soon, the dream that once felt bright becomes something they only remember in conversations. A thing they almost did. But this is where you are different. Because the fact that you are reading this script and using it to improve your mindset means you are choosing the harder road. The road that great traders go through. The road that demands emotional strength instead of comfort. The road that demands responsibility even when you feel overwhelmed. The road that forces you to face yourself in the mirror with honesty. Bad days do not destroy traders. Avoiding them does. The painful truth is that you are not building discipline when trading feels good. You are not building mastery during your winning streaks. You are not building resilience when your confidence is high. You build those things when you show up on the days when your mind is fighting you, when your emotions are loud, when your confidence is cracked, when every part of you wants to run but you choose to walk forward anyway. That is the exact moment when your identity as a trader evolves. Imagine a trader who only goes to the gym on the days when he feels strong. He exercises only when his energy is high. He pushes himself only when he feels powerful. What happens on the days when he feels weak? He skips. And slowly, his progress collapses. His strength leaves him. His consistency breaks. And he becomes someone who cannot perform under fatigue. The traders who succeed are the ones who understand that mental fitness works the same way as physical fitness. If you train only when it feels good, you will never build the strength required for the days when it feels bad. Showing up on your bad days is like lifting emotional weight. It is uncomfortable, it is painful, sometimes it feels pointless, but every time you do it, you add another layer of mental toughness, another layer of resilience, another layer of character. These layers build up quietly. They do not give immediate rewards. But one day, they become the mental armor that protects you from losing control in the market. That is how great traders are sculpted. If you look at all consistent traders, you will see a pattern. Their transformation did not happen on their best days. Their breakthrough did not come during a perfect trade. Their identity as a real trader was built on the days when things looked dark. They had mornings when they hated the chart. They had nights when they questioned their entire journey. They had periods where losses drained their soul. But despite that, they showed up. They executed. And even when they were not trading, they were studying. Even when they were not studying, they were observing. Even when they were not observing, they were thinking. Because their mindset was built around one truth: consistency is not what you do when things are good. It is what you do when things are not. Before we dive deeper, let me ask you this. Are you struggling with fear, doubt, or overtrading? The truth is, most people don't fail because of bad strategies, they fail because of bad psychology. That's why I created my ebook, Master Your Mind, Master Your Trades. It's packed with practical steps to control your emotions, stay disciplined, and trade like a pro. If you're ready to take your trading to the next level, check the link in the description and pinned comment and grab your copy today. Now let's continue. There is something powerful that happens when you show up at your lowest. You prove to yourself that you are not controlled by emotion. You prove that you can rise above discomfort. You prove that you can still think and act even when you feel weak. And this proof becomes internal evidence. That evidence turns into confidence. That confidence turns into discipline. And that discipline turns into results. Most traders want confidence without building evidence. They want discipline without experiencing discomfort. They want results without facing resistance. But you are building the kind of inner strength that cannot be shaken by temporary emotions. Let's talk about the reality of bad days. There will be days when your trade stops out instantly, days when your setup starts perfectly then reverses violently, days when the market moves sideways with no clear direction, but your mind keeps begging you to force a trade anyway, days when your internet is slow, days when you feel sick, days when something stressful is happening in your personal life. On those days, your mind becomes extremely loud. It attacks you with doubt. It tells you that success is far away. It whispers that you are not improving fast enough. It reminds you of every loss you ever took. It tries to convince you that staying away from the chart is the easiest solution. Your emotional brain is always trying to protect you from discomfort. It sees uncertainty as danger. It sees risk as a threat. It sees losses as something painful to avoid. But that brain is the same part that keeps people stuck in the same job for 10 years because they are scared to try something new. It is the same part that makes people stay small because being uncomfortable feels dangerous. It is the same part that convinces people to quit right before they grow. If you listen to that voice, you will never evolve. But if you listen to the voice inside you that tells you to keep going, you become unstoppable. Here is the deeper truth. The market does not punish you for having bad days. It punishes you only when you let your bad days control your decisions. You can show up and still choose not to trade. You can show up and focus on reading the market. You can show up and review your losses. You can show up and train your psychology. You can show up and do nothing except watch your thoughts. Showing up does not mean forcing trades. It means staying committed to your craft even when you are mentally tired. Think about pilots. They do not fly planes only when the weather is perfect. They train for turbulence. They train for storms. They train for unexpected situations. They train for the moments when everything feels unstable. And this training builds automatic responses that keep the plane safe. Trading is similar. You are training your mind to remain stable even when the market is unstable. You are training your emotions to remain calm even when the chart is chaotic. You are training your decision-making to remain sharp even when your confidence is low. Most traders think they need motivation to show up. But motivation is temporary. It disappears fast. The traders who win are the ones who show up without motivation. They show up out of commitment. They show up because their goals demand consistency. They show up because they understand that greatness is built on repetition, not excitement. They show up because their future self is counting on them to keep going. When you show up on a bad day, something incredible happens inside your mind. You reduce the power of fear. You reduce the power of doubt. You reduce the power of hesitation. You reduce the power of negative emotion. Day by day, showing up becomes easier. And eventually, You turn into the kind of trader who can operate under pressure. While others quit because they do not feel good, you rise because you trained yourself to keep moving regardless of how you feel. The truth is, bad days create great traders. Not because they feel good, but because they build the kind of internal strength money cannot buy. You learn to think clearly under stress. You learn to control yourself when emotions are high. You learn to stay calm in chaos. You learn to trust your system even when you are doubting yourself. And those skills become the foundation of long-term consistency. Great traders have a quiet toughness inside them. They do not brag about it. They do not talk about how hard it is. They simply wake up, sit down, and do what needs to be done. They know that the price of success includes days that feel unfair. They accept that discipline is sometimes lonely. They accept that emotional pain is part of the journey. And they accept that skipping the hard days will destroy their growth. You are building that toughness right now. Each time you read one of these chapters and breathe through the discomfort and mentally strengthen yourself, you are building a version of you that will one day look back and say, I kept going even when it hurt. And that sentence is the birth of a champion. Because champions are not built from comfort. They are built from decisions made during pain, fear, confusion, and doubt. Every trader who becomes consistently profitable reaches a moment where they realize something important. Winning is not the hard part. Staying disciplined when you feel weak is. Anyone can follow rules when they feel good. Anyone can wait for the right setup when they are confident. Anyone can avoid revenge trading when they are emotionally stable. But only a small percentage of traders can remain calm on the days when everything feels wrong. That small group is the one that succeeds. So when you wake up and your mind feels heavy, remember this. That is the day that matters. That is the day that shapes you. That is the day that transforms you. Showing up on the easy days builds nothing. Showing up on the hard days builds everything. This is the beginning of becoming unstoppable. This is where greatness is sculpted. This is where your future consistency is forged. There are days in trading when the charts look heavier than usual, like they're carrying the weight of every loss you've ever taken. Days when your analysis feels foggy, your confidence feels thin, and even the simplest setup feels like it's testing your patience. These are the days most traders avoid. These are the days they skip, hesitate, or half show up. But these are also the exact days that separate the ones who break through from the ones who stay stuck in the cycle of inconsistency. There is something strange about bad trading days. They don't announce themselves. They don't give you a warning. You wake up thinking today might be the day you catch a big move, only for the market to slap your expectations and force you to face yourself. And that is what most traders miss. Bad days in trading are not about the charts. They are about you. They are about what your mind does when things don't go your way. They are about whether you can still act like a professional when everything in you wants to behave like an amateur. This is where real discipline lives. Not in the days where everything is clean and the setup appears exactly the way you want it. Anyone can trade those days. Even beginners feel confident when the market is trending smoothly. Discipline is built on the days when your emotions are loud, your focus is weak, and your brain keeps whispering, you can always trade better tomorrow. This is where showing up becomes a weapon. This is where you learn to trade without needing perfect conditions. Think about the last time you had a terrible day in the market. Not just a losing day, but a mentally draining one. Maybe you hesitated too much. Maybe you entered too early. Maybe the market faked you out. Maybe you closed early because you were scared of losing again. Or maybe you didn't take a trade at all and spent the whole day feeling guilty. Most traders react to these days emotionally. They say, I should have known, or I am tired, or I don't want to face another loss. And the moment they think that way, they disconnect from the mindset that creates consistency. The truth is, bad days teach you more about yourself than any winning day ever will. When you win, you don't question your process, you don't inspect your flaws, you don't study your emotions. But when you lose, especially in a way that frustrates you, the mirror is placed directly in front of you. This mirror doesn't show your strategy. It shows your discipline. It shows how you react under pressure. It shows whether you can control your impulses or whether your impulses control you. A trader who only shows up on good days never becomes great. A trader who only executes when they feel confident never becomes consistent. The market does not reward feelings. It rewards discipline. It rewards the trader who can follow their plan even when they feel doubt rising. It rewards the trader who can stay patient even when they feel fear creeping in. It rewards the trader who understands that consistency is not created by the best days, but by the worst ones. Every trader dreams of becoming the version of themselves who can execute with clarity regardless of the pressure. But very few are willing to walk through the emotional discomfort required to become that trader. The discomfort of watching the market move without you because your setup wasn't valid. The discomfort of accepting a loss without trying to make it back immediately. The discomfort of seeing the perfect entry after you've missed it and resisting the urge to chase. These moments feel small, but they are exactly where consistency is born. One of the biggest mistakes traders make is assuming discipline is a feeling. They think they need motivation to follow their rules. They think they need confidence to trade properly. They think they need to be in the right mental state before they can perform. But discipline is not something you feel. Discipline is something you do, especially when you don't feel like it. Professionals understand this. They show up regardless of mood. They execute regardless of fear. They review their trades regardless of outcome. They treat trading like a skill that is strengthened through repetition, not emotion. On your bad days, your mind will try to trick you into avoiding discomfort. It will tell you this is not the right time. It will tell you the market looks too messy. It will tell you you'll trade better tomorrow. But tomorrow is not the problem. The problem is that you are training your mind to run away whenever things get tough. And if you train yourself to avoid discomfort, you will never be able to handle the pressure that comes with big opportunities. This is why showing up on bad days matters so much. It is not about forcing trades. It is about proving to yourself you can stay disciplined even when you feel off. It is about proving you can stick to your plan even when the market is not cooperating. It is about proving that your emotional state cannot dictate your trading decisions. Every time you show up on a difficult day, you weaken the voice of fear and strengthen the voice of discipline. Imagine two traders. One only trades when everything feels perfect. The other trades according to their rules, regardless of how they feel. After 1 year, they will not even look like the same kind of trader. The first trader will still struggle with hesitation, fear, and inconsistency. The second trader will operate with calm, clarity, and precision. The difference between them is not strategy. It is emotional resilience. It is the willingness to show up when the mind wants to run. When you show up on bad days, you are not building results. You are building identity. You are becoming the trader who can stay composed under pressure. You are becoming the trader who does not need perfect conditions to perform. You are becoming the trader who can withstand emotional turbulence without losing control. This identity is what carries you through losing streaks. This identity is what keeps you steady when everyone else is panicking. This identity is what creates long-term success. The market will always test you. It will test your patience. It will test your confidence. It will test your discipline. But the trader who survives these tests is not the one with the best entries or the sharpest analysis. It is the one who learns how to remain steady when everything feels unstable. Discipline is not just about following rules. It is about becoming the kind of person who doesn't break under pressure. Showing up on bad days is the secret no one wants to hear. Everyone wants a strategy that never fails. Everyone wants psychology that never cracks. Everyone wants consistency without the emotional battles that create it. But the truth is, every successful trader has gone through days where they felt overwhelmed, exhausted, scared, or unsure. What makes them different is that they did not allow those feelings to control their actions. There will be days when the market makes you question your entire journey. Days when you wonder if you are even improving. Days when you feel stuck in the same emotional loops. But those days are not signs you are failing. They are signs you are growing. Growth does not feel comfortable. Growth feels like being stretched, challenged, and pushed to your limits. If you avoid these days, you avoid the very process that transforms you. So the next time you feel tired, frustrated, or mentally drained, remember this. The trader you want to become is built on days exactly like this. The days when you sit down anyway. The days when you focus anyway. The days when you follow the plan anyway. The days when you reflect, even though it hurts. These days are your training ground. They are shaping the emotional armor you will need for the rest of your trading career. Most traders quit because they misinterpret struggle. They think difficulty means they are doing something wrong. But difficulty means you are on the right path. If trading was easy, everyone would be consistent. The fact that it challenges you is proof that the process is real. And if you push through these moments, if you show up on the days when your mind screams not today, you will build a level of mental strength that separates you from 99% of traders. You might not see progress immediately. It might feel like nothing is changing, but every time you choose discipline over emotion, you add another brick to the foundation of consistency. And one day you will look back and realize those bad days were not obstacles. They were the moments that built you into a disciplined, resilient, and profitable trader. You only understand the true meaning of consistency on the days when consistency feels impossible. Anyone can show up on a good day. Anyone can trade when the market is clean and the mind is calm and the world feels aligned. But only a rare kind of trader keeps showing up when everything inside them is screaming to quit. And that decision, that small action of simply refusing to walk away, becomes the reason they reach the level others dream about but never touch. There's a moment in every trader's journey when they finally realize the market was never testing their intelligence. It was testing their emotional endurance. It was testing their capacity to stand in discomfort without running. It was testing whether they could remain disciplined, even when discipline brought no immediate reward. And it was testing whether they could keep building, even when nothing looked like progress on the surface. The strange thing about trading is that the worst days are usually the days that shape you the most. You do not grow when you feel confident. You grow when everything feels messy and unclear. You grow when you sit at your chart with a tired brain and a frustrated heart, and you still do the work anyway. You grow when you feel confused about your strategy, yet still follow the rules because you know structure protects you. You grow when the market feels unpredictable, but you still execute your plan with conviction. Many people talk about consistency as if it magically appears when you become more educated or more skilled. But consistency is not a skill. It is a decision you renew every day. It is the willingness to keep going even when progress is invisible. It is waking up to a losing streak and refusing to allow it to control your identity. It is taking a valid setup after 3 losses in a row because your system says it is valid and you trust your work more than your emotions. It is a quiet promise you make to yourself that you will not break even when the market breaks your confidence. There is a story about a trader named Isaac, a young guy who started with a small account and a lot of determination. His first year was brutal. He lost money, gained a bit, lost again, thought he had figured it out, then realized he didn't, but he never stopped showing up. Even on the days he was exhausted, even on the days when doubt took over, he still sat in front of the charts. Some days he did not trade, but he still showed up, still journaled, still tracked the market, still learned something. Then came a period where every good trade he took seemed to get stopped out by a single wick. Every losing trade seemed to run exactly to his stop loss, and then reverse without him. He double-checked his rules, thought his system was broken, questioned everything. He considered quitting for the first time. One morning he almost didn't open his laptop, but something inside him said just show up. Do not trade, do not force anything, just show up and watch. He opened his charts, and something strange happened. For the first time, He understood the structure in a deeper way. He noticed that the market wasn't punishing him. It was teaching him precision. It was teaching him patience. He realized he was entering slightly too early on most of his setups. He was trying to predict, instead of waiting for confirmation. It wasn't a big mistake. But over hundreds of trades, small mistakes cost you the most. And this realization did not come on a good day. It came on a day he almost walked away. It came on a day when he felt drained and disconnected from the charts. It came on a day when he wasn't even planning to trade. That was the day the breakthrough started. Not a breakthrough in profits, but a breakthrough in clarity. You see, showing up on your worst days is not about trading. It is about conditioning your mind. It is about teaching your brain that discipline does not depend on your feelings. It is about building the mental stamina required to manage uncertainty. The market doesn't reward the smartest trader. The market rewards the trader who can remain calm when everything is uncertain. Think about it this way. When you go to the gym, the muscle grows from the last few reps, the ones that burn, the ones that feel impossible. The easy reps do nothing for you. It is the reps that hurt that make you stronger. Trading is the same. The good days are easy reps. The bad days are the ones that build your mental muscle. The days when you are stressed, tired, overwhelmed but still show up with discipline. The days when you do not feel like learning but you practice anyway. The days when you take a break but you come back. Those are the reps that make you a different kind of trader. Every consistently profitable trader has memories of days when they wanted to quit. You never hear these stories because profitable traders rarely talk about their struggle. They talk about their system, their strategies, their psychology. But they rarely talk about the tears, the nights staring at charts after huge losses, the months of confusion, the moments when they felt stupid for even trying. But those moments are the foundation of their success. There is something powerful that happens when you show up even when you are losing. You start separating your identity from your results. You stop saying, "I am a bad trader," and start saying, "I had a bad day." You stop tying your confidence to your win rate. You stop expecting perfection. You start understanding that losing is normal, and learning is non-stop. You start seeing the bigger picture instead of the pain of a single trade. Imagine a trader who loses 3 trades in a row and still takes the 4th trade with full confidence, full discipline, full trust in the system. That trader is unstoppable. That trader is built for longevity. That trader will survive every market condition because they are not controlled by the last outcome. What builds that level of mental strength? Not the good days. Never the good days. It is built by the days when the market punches you and your ego bleeds. The days when you lose a setup you believed in. The days when you feel foolish. The days when nothing makes sense. And yet you still show up. You still study. You still grow. There is a scene many traders know too well. You sit at your desk, charts open, your spirit drained. You are tired of analyzing, tired of repeating the same explanations in your mind, tired of learning lessons without seeing rewards. And then comes the thought that starts the downfall for 99% of traders. What if I am just wasting my time? It is a quiet thought, but dangerous. It sneaks in slowly and plants doubt in your process. But the trader who succeeds does something different. They answer the thought instead of accepting it. They say, maybe today is difficult, but difficult days do not define my future. They say, maybe I am not consistent yet, but I am building the person who will be. They say, maybe this stage hurts, but it is temporary. That confidence, that resilience, that small shift in thinking makes all the difference. Most great traders did not become great because they were naturally talented. They became great because they refused to stop. They kept showing up. Not perfectly, not every single day, but consistently enough that growth was inevitable. And the beautiful thing about growth is that it does not show up gradually. It appears suddenly. One day you wake up and everything makes sense. Your trades feel sharper. Your entries feel cleaner. Your emotions feel calmer. Your patience feels natural. and you realize you are no longer forcing consistency. You have become consistency. Near the end of every trader's struggle stage, there is always one final test. A moment where you feel like you cannot carry on anymore. A moment where you feel like you have given everything but gotten nothing. A moment where the market pushes your emotions to the edge. But that moment is not a sign to quit. It is a sign that you are close. Very close. It means your mind is nearly strong enough to handle consistency. It means your emotional weaknesses are being exposed, so they can be removed. It means breakthroughs are coming, even though they are invisible right now. That is why showing up on bad days matters so much. You are not just looking at charts. You are building psychological armor. You are training your discipline. You are strengthening your emotional reflexes. You are developing the mindset required to stay consistent. You are building a future version of you who can survive anything in the market. And one day, you will look back at these difficult days and realize they were the most important days of your journey. You will realize they shaped your discipline. They shaped your patience. They shaped your emotional resilience. They shaped your identity as a trader. They were the reason you did not drift like most traders do. They were the reason you made it to consistency. A trader who only shows up on good days will always remain average. A trader who only works when they feel motivated will never grow. A trader who relies on results for confidence will always be unstable. But a trader who shows up on bad days becomes unstoppable because their discipline is no longer emotional. It is a part of who they are. So if today feels heavy, if your trades feel confusing, if nothing is working, if you feel like quitting, let this be the reminder you needed. These days are not signs that you are failing. These days are signs that you are changing. This is the stage where you are being shaped. This is the stage where you earn your discipline. This is the stage where your future self is being built. Showing up on bad days does not just build great traders. It builds traders who last, traders who survive, traders who evolve, traders who win long term. And that is who you are becoming every time you choose to keep going. You are closer than you think.